Hello there, my name is Martin Kentish from Free Range People Limited. We're specialists in developing feedback systems for organisations like the NHS, and we've worked with various NHS organisations on systems to capture patient experience, sequin data, and now the EDS solution that was written for Luton. What we're going to go through in this presentation is a brief history of the company and how it led on to creating the EDS solution. The events leading up to working with the NHS, in fact the creation of the company, was a relationship with the nurse, and it was clear that patients really did appreciate her work, yet often this appreciation went unrecorded. So I thought if we could come up with a way of capturing and using patient feedback in real time, it would deliver significant value to the NHS. And this simple concept led to work with organisations like Bedfordshire Community Health and Norfolk Community Health and Care, and this includes real-time patient insight projects, sequin data collection, and now the EDS solution. There were two types of information that were essential to the EDS solution. One measured the performance of the organisation using 10 basic statements about the service and the protected characteristics of the individual concerned. One of the requirements was that the performance needed to be measured in a defined way to establish whether the patient thought the service was excelling, achieving, developing or underdeveloped for each of the statements. Now, we had two things in mind when we developed the EDS solution, the first of which is that we wanted to make it as very simple and as very straightforward as possible for staff to use, and secondly, very fast to generate actionable insight in real time. So to give you an idea of how easy it's made, all you need to do is to really define your various statements and the rest is handled for you. This includes all the IT and reporting requirements, so you can simply log in and view the results in real time. So here we have an example of the star chart form running on an iPad. This makes it very easy for people to use. People simply touch the buttons on the screen to answer any of the colour-coded statement questions. And note the barcode on the bottom left-hand side, which we'll talk about in a moment. Of course, you can even take out a printed version and use one of the alternative data entry screens later on, shown on the right. This captures exactly the same information as the star chart, but simply presents the questions in an alternative format. This EDS solution is completely flexible, making it very easy to customise for a particular health provider. Once people complete the answers to the various statement questions, they may optionally answer the protected characteristics questions shown above. Again, these are instantly stored. Of course, we don't insist on any particular gadget like an iPad to be used, so you're free to choose your own hardware. Because the EDS solution runs on any web browser or virtually on any smartphone. And the useful thing about smartphones is that staff can use a device such as a BlackBerry or an iPhone, which they may already have in their pockets to capture EDS data, rather than have to lug around particular devices, a laptop or a tablet computer. The EDS solution makes it as convenient as possible for staff to collect EDS data without having to invest in any new type of hardware. So once the data is collected, it's available for reporting. And here we see two examples. The one on the left presents the statement data as a colour-coded chart. Where people give the answer excelling to any of the statements, the results are shown in purple. Where underdeveloped is given, the answers are shown in red. So from this simple example, we can quickly deduce that people do not feel their feedback is being listened to, and feedback is not easy to give in the first place. Immediately we can see two priorities in need of addressing. The one on the right is simply a bar chart showing the results of the protected characteristics data. Both these reports are real-time and samples available through the dashboard. Any report can be produced presenting the information as you choose, and these are just two examples. I mentioned earlier these barcodes. They're actually called QR or quick response codes. Staff simply point their smartphone at one of these and immediately the smartphone will respond by going straight to the appropriate EDS form to complete. And the ability to do this type of scanning is built into many smartphones, and scanning software is freely available at no cost for most of them. This makes it as simple as possible for staff to call up the appropriate EDS form. Now, QR codes can be used for many other things, from calling out specific information embedded in a web page to sending text or emails to a specific address. So they're a very useful addition to the EDS project. So in summary, the EDS solution makes it straightforward and very fast to discover and act upon the various priorities. You don't need to worry about the mechanics of how it's all done. All the technical aspects like the collection, analysis and reporting are handled for you. And secondly, the system is easily adapted to meet any particular requirement, such as inviting specific comment on the statements that received a poor mark. And lastly, the project has been led by EDS specialist Mina Jessa from Luton, so we're confident that it meets the requirements laid down by the Department of Health. So that's it. I hope it's been interesting. Please feel free to ask us any questions.